If you had the superpower of freezing time, what would you want to do most? Ben Willis is a student at an art college, and he has a beautiful girlfriend with both white skin and good shape. But just today, Susie, her girlfriend, breaks up with him. In the face of his hysterical girlfriend, Ben doesn't know how to comfort her. He thinks it's because he is too unromantic and boring that his girlfriend breaks up with him. But when he arrives at school the next day, he finds out that Susie has already been with someone else. It turns out that Susie has already started another relationship even without an interval, which breaks Ben down. His buddy comforts him, saying that the best cure for a lovelorn heart is to enter the next relationship. He says that women are possessive, and when Susie finds out that Ben has a new girlfriend, she will definitely come back to him. But Ben can't do it, because all he has in mind is Susie. Back in the dorm, hearing the hormonal noise from the next door, Ben becomes more and more regretful about his breakup with Susie. So he calls Susie, asking her to get back together. But Susie turns him down, saying that her new boyfriend is very nice to her, and she hopes that Ben would not bother her again. After hanging up the phone, Ben is completely broken. He is caught in the mood of falling out of love, with his mind full of images of Susie. Out of great sorrow, Ben loses sleep. After the call that night, Ben can't sleep anymore. But even with extreme sleep deprivation, Ben is still in good spirits, eating and drinking very well. But it also gives Ben 8 extra hours of spare time in his life gratuitously. He wants to pass the time by reading books, but Susie's figure still lingers in his mind, which makes him very painful. He has to do something to relieve this pain and divert his attention. One day, when Ben is shopping in the supermarket, Sharon, the beautiful cashier, catches Ben's attention. Not only that, but he also finds a way to kill the time because of the shopping experience, which is to work the night shift in the supermarket. Then he can not only see the beautiful Sharon, but also can pass the boring 8 hours like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And he may also be able to get over his ex-girlfriend through this. The supermarket manager is particularly satisfied with Ben. After all, a young man willing to work at night is a rarity. Little does he read Ben's resume that he passes Ben's application. In this way, Ben is now a nighttime employee in the supermarket. That day, he meets Sharon again in front of the locker. While coming in a hurry because she is running late, Sharon says hello to him. A wonderful encounter happens, but what happens next makes Ben very unhappy. The manager catches Sharon late, but he doesn't blame her. Instead, he pats Sharon on her hips slightly, telling her it's okay. Ben feels awfully upset when he sees this. He comes to the shelf and stares at the food scattered on the ground in a daze. It's not until the manager comes to him to tell him to work that Ben just returns to his senses. Although the way to pass the time has been found, after all, in the full 8 hours in the supermarket, boredom has become the biggest enemy of these employees. But fortunately, to kill time, everyone has their methods. Sharon believes that the more one cares about time, the slower time goes. So she refuses to look at her watch, expecting time to fly quickly. The other 2 employees are Barry Brickman and Matt Stevens, who are downright losers. They kill the time by making dirty jokes every day or having scooter races in the supermarket. Of course, all these happen while the manager is away. The last person on the night shift schedule is the manager, whose way of passing the time is simpler, that is, to tease Sharon occasionally. Apparently, the greasy bald man has no clear idea of himself. While colleagues have their own tricks for killing time, Ben has never been able to blend in. And with that, Ben continues suffering from insomnia for 2 more weeks. But it turns out to be a blessing in disguise. Because of insomnia, Ben finds it harder and harder to tell between reality and illusion. One night he is surprised to find that he has the superpower to freeze time, which makes people around stand still like statues. In the paused world, Ben can walk freely. He carefully feels everything around him. Looking at these vibrant beauties in the supermarket, Ben's inner devil heart runs out. Moving the manager to the front of Barry and Matt, who are doing damage, he wants to trick the manager and the flighty colleagues. And then he strips all the beauty's clothes in the supermarket, which he does, of course, not for anything dirty. Instead, taking out his sketchpad, he starts to draw stroke by stroke. Ben has been very obsessed with the female nude since he was a child, which is why he studies art. And also, because of the superpower to freeze time, Ben can finally quietly appreciate the graceful figures in front of him and can get the concept of beauty at ease. There are no dirty thoughts in his mind at the moment, only his respect for human bodies and art. After finishing the drawing, he carefully gets the girls dressed. Then, with a click of Ben's fingers, time continues to pass. Seeing that Ben is still unhappy, his buddy persuades him to visit Natalie, their neighbor. Since she was a teenager, she has been offering sexual services to people nearby. His buddy hopes that Ben can visit Natasha and release his pent-up desire, but Ben is reluctant to do so. That day, he meets Sharon again. Although inwardly he likes Sharon very much, Ben always only dares to see her from a distance. He even lacks the courage to ask her for a movie. The result of not being brave enough is that someone else takes action earlier. What Ben doesn't expect is that Sharon should agree to date Matt. What's more, Matt also tells Ben the next day how he and Sharon spent a fascinating night. In Ben's life, he has flipped 3 times. The first one is a female athlete. The second one is his biology teacher because her beautiful figure attracts Ben deeply. The third and most important one is his classmate Green. Green had a cast because of an accidental fracture of his left hand. After the plaster was removed, what was exposed was an arm covered with long and dense hairs. It hurt very much that because of this, all her classmates laughed at her. Ben was the only one who took the initiative to approach her and comforted her. The two people fell in love with each other and started dating. Green wanted to kiss Ben, but Ben ran away because he was too nervous. Later, Green transferred to another school and went to America with her parents, which impacted Ben a lot. And that's why despite that he had been with Susie for so long, their relationship didn't develop further. And this time his cowardice makes his loved one be taken away by a loser. Ben can only rely on pausing time again and again to depict every image of Susie. The more Ben thinks of it, the more frustrated he feels. But soon the god of luck favors him again. The manager organizes a football match with employees from different supermarkets. Ben, the homebody, has to participate too. The manager wants to show off on the court. However, because of the different strengths of the two sides, Ben and his teammates are beaten 26-0 by the opponents. At this moment, the manager is still in high spirits and continues encouraging everyone. But after all, since they have not been professionally trained, they are about to lose the last game. At this point, Ben exerts his time-frozen power. But in fact, he doesn't intend to help the manager win the game and get the championship. Instead, he is thinking about how to create a chance to be alone with Sharon. Immediately, when he unfreezes time, the football suddenly falls and hits the manager in the face. The manager is rushed to the hospital. Ben seizes the opportunity at once, asking if Sharon would like a cup of coffee with him. In the cafe, Ben inadvertently asks about the relationship between Sharon and Matt. Sharon tells him that they just went to see a movie and that's all. Knowing this, Ben is elated. Then they talk about their lives and dreams. Sharon works the night shift to save her tuition, and she wants to learn Spanish and then travel to South America. She doesn't want to live worthlessly, which Ben agrees with a lot. As for his dream, it's very simple. He wants to be a painter capable of staging exhibitions. The more they talk, the better they get along with each other. After the date, Ben sends Sharon home. He wants to kiss Sharon goodbye, but due to his inexperience, he only kisses Sharon on the cheek. But even so, this is also a good start. The next day, the manager announces that his birthday is coming soon and he hopes everyone can come to his party. Sharon asks Ben if he would like to be her partner, and Ben happily agrees immediately. And it's the first time after the breakup, Ben has a genuinely good sleep. Now he is completely emerged from the impact of the breakup. It's not until a phone call comes in that Ben wakes up. The guy says he's in charge of a gallery, and after seeing Ben's painting, he would like to hold an exhibition for Ben. What Ben doesn't know is that the so-called person in charge is actually Matt in disguise, and it's just a prank. With both love and career going smoothly, Ben is particularly high-spirited. He picks up Sharon and they go to the party. But something embarrassing happens that his ex Susie is there too. It turns out that Susie's boyfriend, whom she's been with immediately after her breakup with Ben, is the manager's brother. Not only that, she also wants to make up with Ben and initiate a kiss. And Sharon witnesses all this, and then she turns away angrily. Ben wants to stop Sharon and explain to her by freezing time. But after 2 whole days of thinking, he hasn't figured out what to say. He goes to Sharon's house, but Sharon, just like Susie, is hysterical and doesn't want to listen to his explanation at all. Without Sharon, Ben becomes depressed. His only consolation is the phone call from the gallery. He goes to the gallery where the person in charge says that he has never called him at all. But since Ben's already here, he would like to have a look at Ben's work. After seeing Ben's paintings, the person in charge immediately decides to hold an exhibition for Ben. Sharon then receives an invitation from Ben. When she arrives at the exhibition, she is surprised to find that Ben's paintings are all about her. There is no need to explain anything at the moment because these paintings are the best proof of Ben's love for her. With snow drifting romantically outside, Ben freezes time again. He takes Sharon out of the gallery. In the still snowflakes, the two kiss each other deeply.